Facebook buys Kickstarter success story Oculus VR for $2 billion. Combined cash and stock. Let me know how you feel in the comments below. But first, my opinion. I'm Tarmack and this is Feature Creep. Oculus VR, for the quickest history I can manage, raised $2.4 million on Kickstarter for the Rift, a virtual reality headset. The company has allowed for purchasing of development kits and been very well received by the video game community. They had just moved into the second set of specs for the dev kit, but were a ways away from release. Even people who aren't developers were buying the dev kits because some pretty slick game mods were coming out, and frankly, people were excited. The 75,000 dev kit orders give you an idea of how many people were excited. Facebook now has announced that they're buying Oculus for $400 million in cash, usually paid over a few years as is normal for acquisitions, and 23.1 million shares for a nice big grand total of $2 billion. It's always nice how company valuation is done in big round numbers so that media outlets don't have to think about their headlines for very long. So then, the internet exploded, as it often does when money happens to someone other than Valve. There are mass cancellations of pre-orders, Reddit hate trains, and of course 4chan Oculus Rift hammer smashings. As we all know, it really hurts Zuckerberg's gold-plated feelings when you destroy your own property because of something on the internet. I've seen some very well-written arguments on both sides, but by and large, it's a bunch of decapitated chickens running about. Here's the thing about Oculus. It was always going to be bought. That's what happens when you develop technology. Eventually you land on the radar of a very large company and they either buy you to use your tech or they buy you to bury your tech. Cisco and IBM are constantly buying companies to bury competing technologies. So there really was no chance that Oculus was going to get to market without someone else footing the bill. There are a number of people who are furious because they backed Oculus on Kickstarter, and to them this feels like a betrayal. However, the Kickstarter wasn't about raising enough money to complete the project. It was about funding the first dev kit and showing to potential investors that there was a market for the device, which it did handily, allowing Oculus to raise further millions of dollars in funding. There's this prevailing view that Kickstarter is actually like a stock market. It's not, or at least until the Trades Commission start ruling on whether backer rewards are a form of securities. Kickstarter actually goes to great lengths to warn you that you have no recourse, you have no creative control over projects you back, that you don't own a damn thing. You support projects that you like the idea of and that you hope that the project turns out to be good. All that said, I don't really think anyone is upset that they were bought, but rather by who they were bought. And I can sympathize with the Facebook hate. There are things about Facebook that everyone despises. The constant stream of information theft under the guise of an enormous terms of service that nobody can really keep up with, the sharing of worthless nonsense by people I don't have the heart to tell that to in person, and so on. You know why this doesn't bother me though? The Rift isn't a monopoly. We know for certain that Sony is developing VR, we know for pretty sure that Valve is developing VR, we know that probably Microsoft won't let Sony be the only game console to have VR support, we know that Google has been working in the augmented reality business for a while. If the Rift turns into some share my eye selfie ads everywhere, biometrics gathering colorblind online only required privacy sinkhole, it will fall flat on its face in front of the competition. Remember, Facebook does what it does in the social media space because it's the biggest dog in town. That's the single only reason that it can get away with everything, because what are you going to do, not use Facebook? Everyone uses Facebook. In VR, they aren't the biggest dog in town, which means plenty of competition from some other heavyweights, and I think that will keep them on their toes. As to the people canceling their pre-orders, whatever floats your boat. I don't see the Rift being any different owned by Facebook than it would by EA, Microsoft, Sony, Valve, Apple, or any other large company. And it was going to be bought out anyways, which you should have known to begin with if you just looked at the signs. Now, we just need to sit back and hope that all of these proprietary heavy giant corporations can agree on some kind of standard for virtual reality support. It's hard to sell VR when games aren't widely available for it. Where do you stand on the Facebook Oculus controversy? Personally, I still see VR as a gimmick in the same vein as the Wii U touchpad and 3D displays, but I'd love to hear your opinion. Drop it down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. That's all I have to say. Tarmack out.